Okay. Last speech. Here we go. Speech, group, what was your name again?
Team Eagle Eyes.
Team Eagle Eyes.
The Italian
Italian stallions.
The Italian.
Yeah.
Italians. What is the topic?
ins and outs of astrology.
Thank you. Audience, are you ready? Group, are you ready?
Yes.
And proceed.
The ins and outs of astrology, presented by me, Bella, Zane, and Allison. We see zodiac signs every day through our daily lives, but the most we see zodiac signs is on our social media sites. We've either seen a post on Instagram, to a reel on Instagram, or even a story on Instagram. And also from seeing a tweet on Twitter, even you'll see zodiac signs on TikTok. You'll especially see a zodiac sign on Snapchat on either a story or on your Discover page. And if you click on your profile on Snapchat, it'll tell you your zodiac sign right there and then. You can also find zodiac signs on YouTube by either searching it up or even seeing it in an ad. Saying this, zodiac signs are derived from astrology for many years and include 4 different elements that mean different meaning to different people. Saying this, the 4 different element groups are fire, which contains Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Next is Earth, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Air, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And final, water, Cancer, which contains Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. Saying all this, the best place to start knowing all these awesome zodiac signs is with the origin history.
So before we get into learning about the 4 different element groups or the cultural views of zodiacs, we must first start with the origins of zodiacs and how did these really come up? Time 2018 explains some history. So the sky has had many usages over the years. The sky has been used as a calendar. Many ancient societies looked to the sky and determined their different months and their different years. But it's not the same January to December that we know today, but it's still the same concept. The sky has also been used as a compass. We're all pretty familiar with the star, the North Star. We can see it's been used as a compass. And it has also been used to predict weather patterns. The ancient Egyptians looked to the sky and it would predict when their rainy season was going to be, and then it would help them prepare because they knew that the Nile was going to flood. The Egyptians and the Babylonians were the first to develop constellations, and eventually these ideas spread to the Greeks. Greek Reporter 2022 describes Greek God relationship. The Greeks developed these ideas and they identified 12 major constellations that they then associated with either a god, a goddess, or a story of a god or goddess. For example, the zodiac sign Cancer, whose symbol is the crab, is developed from the story where Hera sends a crab to Hercules to fight off Hercules. However, the Greeks were not the ones to associate personality traits with these constellations. This is developed from several different societies. It can be seen in ancient societies and caveman drawings, where they would look to see when a son was born, and it would determine if he was going to be a good hunter or not. And it can also be seen in ancient Chinese societies. They see when their emperor is born, and they look to the sky, and they'll see, is he going to be a good hunter? Is he going to have good emperor? Is he going to have good fortune, or is he going to have bad fortune? And it would even determine if they're going to get rid of that emperor or not. Eventually, these ideas would pass from culture to culture, and it's become what we know today. So we see on this next slide a zodiac wheel. So this would be where we're familiar being January, and then it goes this way around this wheel, eventually to Sagittarius, which would be December. Now that we know about the zodiac history, we can get into the 4 different element groups.
The first group we have today is the fire signs. To understand fire signs better, we first have to look at the zodiac signs that are in the fire sign group. The first group we have is Aries. That is Aries sign, and Aries branches out from the beginning and middle of March to the middle of April. The next sign we have is Leo. Leo branches out from the middle of July to the middle of August. And the final sign is Sagittarius, which goes from the middle of November to the middle of December. All these signs also have symbols and traits and logos that represent them. Aries constellation is represented by a ram. Leo's constellation is represented by a lion, and Sagittarius is represented by an archer. Now we look at some of the characteristics of fire signs. Astrology 2017 describes their emotions as being strong, creative and fun, and self-assured. Strong characteristics of fire signs would show in the events they do, such as sports. They're never going to give up, and they're always going to push through adversity. A fire sign is willing to put in the extra work to go the extra mile to be the greatest. Next, we see creative and fun. Fire signs are very good at branching out and are not kept to themselves. They're very likely to go out and meet you first before you make the first move. And their self-assurance is shown again when they're doing activities. They tell themselves, you can't quit, you can do this. And they just let themselves know and others know that anything is possible and to not quit and give up. So moving on from this next, we see the strengths and weaknesses of fire signs. Astrology 2017 mentions the forcefulness they have, and this shows when zodiac signs are in, say, a debate. Fire signs in a debate, say with politics, are very forceful because they won't back down. They'll continue to give points, whether it's relevant or irrelevant to the situation, they'll always fire back. It may not be with facts, but it'll be fired back at you so fast that you won't be able to catch a remark back to them. For example, if you're in a debate with a fire sign and you hit them with a fact, they may not be able to hit you with a fact back, but they would hit you with a comment such as your mom. What are you going to do after that? Nothing. Cosmopolitan 2022 explains them being lusty and impassioned. Fire signs, like many fire things, are spicy. That's the one word I can use to describe them. Fire signs, say on the first date, are likely to make the first move. They want to get things going. They're really into being hot and heavy. And My Imperfect Life 2022 describes them that they're not hesitant to describe the hurtful truth and tell you the hurtful truth. They don't mind hurting you. They care about themselves and they want to make you better as much as they do, but at the same time, they won't mind you shedding a few tears to get their point across. So moving on from this, we see the compatibility with other signs. Cut 22 says that fire signs, along with being compatible with other fire signs, are compatible with air signs. This is because when you look at it in the real world, what happens when you put air into fire? Embers rise. Air signs help fire signs grow. It fuels their creativeness and personality and their fun-loving, which is what they like about them. And MTV Mindfulness explains that these signs move quicker. So fire signs and air signs, when they're together, both want to just do life together. They want to get life going. And so usually they won't take much time to date. They'll simply get married faster, get things going so that they can just live life more. And so moving on from this, we have their values. Reader's Digest says that they take pride in being spontaneous. You never know what a fire sign is going to do next. For example, let's take a look at some famous fire signs. These would be DJ Khaled, Miley Cyrus, and Nicki Minaj. When you see these artists, you never know what they're going to do next. They've done things that have shocked people. For example, DJ Khaled could probably be at a funeral and scream, "We the best music." Nobody would see that coming. They're willing to take risks in the fields of anything that they do. They're not afraid to go off the edge. If a fire sign's a fashion designer, they're not afraid of what other people think. They're doing it for their own self-enjoyment. And so now moving on from this, another sign that doesn't mind getting to the point and getting their point across is earth signs.
The next group that we have is the earth signs. Who are they? In this group, we have Taurus, which is symbol as a bull and are born from April 20th to May 20th. Next, we have Virgo, which is symbol is a virgin and are born from August 23rd to September 22nd. And next, we have Capricorn, which is symbol is a goat, and they are born between December 22nd and January 19th. Some things about earth signs. They are very down to earth. And Deborah Silverman Astrology 2022 says that they are very practical. They're very logical. They like to think things through before they take action. They are also known as very loyal. They are very dependable. You can count on them and are very trustworthy. If you need something to talk about, you could trust them, tell them, and they won't tell anyone else. They are also known as being very organized. They like to have things in order, have plans before they do a task. They are also very judgmental. They like to do things a certain way, and if you do it any other way differently than them, they find it strange. So next we have their strengths and weaknesses. Alert 2020 mentions that they are very loyal. Again, they are very dependable. They're always there for you if you need them. Another strength they have is they are very committed. They are very committed to get things done. They are very committed in all types of relationships, friendships, romantic relationships, and other modes. A few weaknesses they have are they're very stubborn. Yes, they are very committed in doing tasks and getting things done, but they won't change their mind. They are very stubborn on their way. Another thing, they are very committed to other tasks, but they're also known as being very lazy, which can be a very big struggle, and only certain people can deal with that. And compatibility with others is Lifestyle Asia 2022 says that they like all signs. They're very compatible with everyone, but are more likely compatible with water signs. This is because they are both very loyal, and in a relationship, earth signs are very committed and like loyalty. They are very monogamous. Earth signs values, Reader's Digest 2022 states that they like having their ducks in a row. They like having things in order and are very organized, which helps with tasks. Just like earth signs, air signs also like to get things done too.
Air signs. The 3 air signs are Gemini, which is a twin, and as you can see, here's the star symbol for Gemini, and those dates range from May 20th to June 21st. Next is Libra, which is the scale, and here's the star shape for Libra, and their dates range from September 23rd to October 22nd. And the final and third air sign is Aquarius, as you can see here. Aquarius dates range from January 20th to February 19th. Next are air signs characteristics. Lisa Stardust, Astrologer 2021, lists some of their characteristics. She lists them as thinkers, communicators, and doers. Air signs are very intelligent people and like to use their brains a lot and really love talking with others and are very sociable and like to get things done. Next are the strengths and weaknesses. According to Caroline Faulkner, Astrologer 2022, describes them as being mentally overstimulated and sluggish, and these are their weaknesses. They can be overstimulated due to their sense of overthinking all the time. They always have to be thinking and thinking of like what to do next, what are they gonna do tomorrow, or even like what they should do right now. They're always thinking, and it can tend to lead to overthinking and not being good. Because overthinking can lead to their sluggishness the next morning due to their staying awake all night instead of sleeping. They'll lie on the ceiling, they'll lie on their backs into the bed and look at their ceilings all night thinking about what to do the next day. Caroline Faulkner also explains some of their strengths as being intelligent, witty, and cerebral. Like I mentioned earlier, air signs are very intelligent and really love to use their brains, and they can use their wit to get off any or deep conversation they're having with somebody, and it's a really high strength of theirs, and can be cerebral. They like I mentioned earlier, they're very smart, and they're very sociable, and they'll tend to always forgive you if you lie to them before and then you tell the truth. They're very honest people and forgiving people, and as long as you tell the truth, they will forgive you. And if you don't tell the truth, they will know because due to their witness and will not forgive you, which is pretty hard to do. Next is their compatibility with other elements. WikiHow 2022 says they mix well with fire and other air signs. They do not tend to mix well with water as they're neutral with them and are polar opposite with earth. Air and fire mix well because air fuels fire in real life, so it makes sense for them to bond well together. and they tend to only get along with other air signs. Last is their values. Cosmopolitan 2022 explains their values as being very sociable, use of wit, and very forgiving, like I mentioned earlier. And the final thing we'll be talking about today are the water signs.
The final zodiac group we'll talk about today is the water signs. So, who are they? The water signs include Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. Over here we can see Cancer star formation or constellation. Over here we can see Pisces star formation, and down here we can see Scorpio star formation. Cancer's symbol is the crab, and the dates where the sun shines through its constellation, which determines the zodiac, is from around mid-June to mid-July. Pisces symbol is the fish, and those dates are mid-February to mid-March, and Scorpio symbol is the scorpion, and its dates range from mid-October to mid-November. All three of these signs hold similar characteristics. Astrology 2017 describes their emotions. If there's one thing you can understand about water signs, it's that they're very emotional people. Some words to describe them would be sensitive, empathetic, and compassionate. People often describe them as being water-like. They say that their emotions are fluid and flowing, just how a river may be. And we think about one of the other words I used to describe them, sensitive. Often when we think of a sensitive person, they may cry a lot. Tears, water signs, it all kind of matches together. Water signs work well with others. They're very caring, nurturing, and understanding people. They like to have positive reactions from other people, so that help someone, they want someone to be satisfied with the work that they produce. And it gives them a good feeling, like a warm, fuzzy feeling full of joy inside of them. They also are good at solving problems. Now, they're better at solving other people's problems than their own problems, but that's due to they're more using their senses than their logic. They're not the people you really want to go to if you're struggling with a math problem. That's probably more your air signs. But if you're struggling with a relationship or a friendship, something more on that emotional side, those are the people you want to go through to. The ones that are going to talk it out with you and are really going to understand and dig deep into the problem. Some negative characteristics about water signs is sometimes the emotions get the best of them. They let these emotions just boil up and they don't let other people see them all the time, and then they just boil over and they become kind of a mess. This can be a weakness for water signs, but they also have some strengths. Astrology 2017 mentions their acknowledgement. They're able to read people very well. They can walk into a room and they can kind of determine everyone's emotion. That person's happy, that person's sad, that person's nervous, and they know how to approach people. They know when someone is going to need someone to talk to, then for them just to rant and to vent to them. But they also know when someone just needs their space and they just need to walk away and let them have their alone time. Cosmopolitan 2022 explains them holding in emotions. As I said before, they let these emotions kind of boil up inside of them and then all just overflows, which can be a really big weakness and it can affect their daily routines. Metro 2021 describes similarities between signs. Since all of these signs are water signs, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, they share a lot of the same characteristics. Cancer and Pisces tend to be very loyal and trustworthy signs, which also explains why they work so well with others because they have a mutual bond. While Pisces and Scorpio tend to let those emotions boil up, but they also get a little crabby and angry when that does happen. Now let's talk about the compatibility they have with other signs. Cosmopolitan 2022 says that they like water signs mostly. As I said before, they are better at solving the problems of others and not so much themselves, but when a water sign is trying to solve another water sign's problems, they have a deep mutual understanding of what each other are going through. They understand those emotions maybe being tucked away inside, and they get each other to let those emotions out, so they bond really well together. Oprah Daily 2019 quotes that they also like earth signs. As Bella said before, earth signs are down to earth, and they share the same characteristic of being trustworthy and loyal. Finally, we'll talk about the values of water signs. MGB Mindfulness 2022 lists their values, and the main one that you can come up with to describe water signs, their main value is home life. They value their family, their children, their spouse, and their friends, and their happiness. For example, my mom is a water sign, and my mom can be described as everyone's mom. My friends call her Mother K. She's very happy, and she will do anything for the happiness of me, my friends, my siblings, my dad, and she'll put herself on the line to do that. Now that we've talked about all the zodiac element groups, we will get into the different cultural views of these groups.
Like Carson mentioned previously, we see astrology all over the place, most importantly on social media. But other than that, let's take a look at some of the aspects such as religion. What the Bible says about astrology is that God will condemn anyone who follows, worships, or trusts astrology over him. This is because the way God sees it, people are worshiping things that he has created, such as the sun, the stars, and the moon. They're worshiping that over him, thinking that they're more powerful than he is. Religions such as Christians and the Jewish community, they don't believe in astrology because they don't see that as higher than God. But take a religion such as Muslim, for example, they do believe in astrology. They have different beliefs in the stars and the moon. Even ancient Egyptians like Allison mentioned previously, the Egyptians believed in gods such as the sun god Ra, and so they did see those as higher ups. We see astrology all over the place in current day, especially in the entertainment industry. Most importantly, music. This, for example, is rapper Gunna's second studio album cover for his album Wanna. You can see in the album cover that he has zodiac signs around the ring, such as Sagittarius, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. Other albums that we see this in are rapper Lil Tecca's album Virgo World and musician Macklemore's second studio album Gemini. Astrology, I believe, is optimal to believe in. I can see why some people believe in it because they see the traits that they are matched with and think, this is so accurate, I'm all of these things. I can see why people would think that, but the way I see it is that, take me for example, I'm a fire sign. I do believe that I am spicy like a fire sign. I have the boldness, the confidence, I'm self-assuring, romantic, I believe in that. But I felt every single one of the things that every other sign has felt. Like air signs, I think I'm smart. Earth signs, I think I'm logical. And like Allison mentioned with water signs, I'm there for people so much I believe that I don't often make times for myself. And so the way I see astrology is that it's not quite accurate enough to the point where I believe it because I felt every other thing as every other person has felt with their sign. So moving on from this, we see that culture and astrology correspond very much so.
As we can see, that there's more to astrology than just characteristics and strengths and weaknesses. There's history behind it, and this determines the Egyptians and the Greek and Chinese use astrology to determine the calendars and the weather and maps and every other thing in their beliefs. There are many. You can go into depth within these groups, but as we said, fire signs are very spicy and romantic. Earth signs are very logical. Air signs are very intelligent, and water signs are very emotional. As we can see that in society, there's more of an impact of astrology than we think. You see it all over social media and in books even. In conclusion, astrology doesn't determine who you are as a person and don't base it off of your entire personality.
Finally, here is our citations. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
And